You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It's time for the monologue and Q&A session today. Oh my gosh, folks. I can't believe this. It is an incredible week. What has been going on? Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. Well, where are we at? We're in the midst of political stupidity, political chicanery, political war. It is political SHTF. It is off the hook. Off the hook. I want to start out, though, by inviting you to send your questions in to Jolene now, because I want to know what you're thinking. I really do. Jolene, I'm going to leave this completely up to you, your discretion. I want you, Jolene, to select one of the questions that just stands out, and whether it pisses you off or makes you laugh or grinds your gears, gets your goat, frosts your cake, whatever it is. You go ahead and throw that question up first. And we'll know that somehow that question, comment, statement got to you. We'll do that. I want to start, though, with this. Trump's attorney, Christina Bobb, B-O-B-B, was at the Mar-a-Lago estate when the FBI showed up to raid it. Yeah, a former FBI agent went on the news and complained like a little biatch that we don't like to use the word raid because that makes it sound bad. We like to say we're executing a search warrant. Yeah, with weapons of war and machine guns against a former president of the United States. That's a fucking raid if I ever heard of one. Executing a search warrant for a cocktail napkin, a birthday menu, some notes, a map. That's really, it takes machine guns to guard, because those pieces of paper, folks, look out. What about the hundreds, thousands, chunks of paper that Obama got? Never mind. We don't question Democrats. We question you natty little Republicans. So anyways, Christina Bobb said they have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. And I'm going to take exception to Christina Bobb in this case and say, oh yeah, they got a case of the red ass from this, because Republicans finally started acting like men, some of them. And the American people, oh, they're pissed. They are pissed off, and rightly so. What they got is they got a spanking on the ass, the FBI, and we're going to talk about it, folks. But she is correct. They have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. That's right, folks. If the Democrats had anything, they would have leaked it. If they had anything substantial, they would arrest President Trump. The accusations are flying. Folks, I have been all over the internet scouring it to find examples of elected Republicans who are scathingly pissed off, and they are. They're calling for the demolition, the disintegration of the FBI. They're calling for the impeachment of Attorney General Merrick the Douche Garland. And get this, folks, we got a special SHTF dirtbag alert. Attorney General Garland now is threatening you and me, Americans, because they have attacked the integrity of the FBI. And he basically says they got nothing. Attorney General Garland, right? The Attorney General of the United States of America. Personally, he agreed, he personally approved the search warrant. Personally. So it could be taken to a judge who at one point represented pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, who signed the search warrant as being valid, and they got nothing. Well, they got a case of the red ash. They got spanked. They got nothing, and the whole world sees that this is a political hack job. It's a screw job. It's a smear job. The whole world knows it, folks. But Merrick Garland, Attorney General, Pee Wee Herman's big brother, right, promised that he will not stand by as Americans verbally attack the Stasi the FBI. The Gestapo will not tolerate, the FBI won't tolerate this, right? Here's a quote from the Attorney General. I will not stand by silently when integrity of the Department of Justice and the FBI is unfairly attacked. Unfairly? Well, number one, spoken like a true authoritarian meatball. I will not stand by silently. We didn't expect you to stand by silently, you little douche. Merrick Garland, you have no integrity. The FBI has demonstrated they have no integrity. They arrested January 6 protesters, put them in jail. They let Hunter Biden go. You want some integrity? Why don't you look at former Attorney General, that's right, folks, Eric Holder. No way. We won't look at what he did. Nope, nope, nope. We must respect former holders of high office. Except not President Trump. Right? It's unbelievable, folks. I will not stand by silently when the integrity of the Department of Justice and the FBI is unfairly attacked. What are you talking about unfairly? Right? Yeah, well, Americans won't stand by while piece of shit attorney generals, Department of Justice, and FBI agents lie about everything. Right? Agencies are using their destructive power to smear January 6 protesters, Trump, parents. Remember that? The Attorney General, President Biden, the FBI call parents of children domestic terrorists. And we're supposed to give him a fucking pass? Give me a fucking break. Unfairly attacked. You called parents domestic terrorists. You little fucking weasel. Do you get it yet? All right. Oh, by the way, yeah, they also smear patriots, veterans, and our Constitution. F you to you, Merrick Garland. You have no integrity. You are a tool, a pawn, and a butt toy for the globalists and your socialist masters. Whew. I wanted to say all of that. I really did. Felt kind of funny to get that satire on the record, right? Answer that. I tell you what. I'll say you have integrity, Merrick Garland, when you go raid Hillary Clinton, Hunter Biden, Eric Holder, the Obamas, James Comey. Go raid them and then get back to me and see what I have to say about you. All right, Jolene, here's your chance. Here it is. What do you have for me? It is the monologue, and it's the monologue and the Q&A on an SHTF Nazi-style takeover of the federal government day. Crystal knocked? Yeah, you bet. Night of the Long Knives? It's coming. Okay, looks like she hasn't selected one yet. Maybe she's going through them and comparing and putting check marks. Okay, while we're waiting, let me say this. We got more on Merrick Garland. Oh, we got Mad Mick. Okay, this is Jolene's pick. Get your other questions in, folks. It doesn't have to be about cockroaches. He says, John, simple question. How do you milk a cockroach? Well, I've thought about this. They must have very small udders. So I thought, how do you get a cockroach milk, right? Well, I thought, well, they have soy milk and oat milk, and they have almond milk. And I know in order to make almond milk, they take the almonds, they smash them, they pulverize them, they soak them in water, and then they squeeze the liquid out of the remaining almond pulp. I'm pretty sure that's cockroach milk. I'm just taking a wild freaking guess, since I know they aren't a mammal and they don't produce fucking milk. So how do you milk a cockroach? I think we're going to go with the almond technique. They put cockroaches in a big bin and they lower a pestle down and they smash the ever-loving shit out of them. They just grind them into a paste. Then they take that cockroach paste, their guts, their little cockroach butts, everything that's inside the cockroach, and they probably soak it in water, right? And then they remove the solids, and there you have it, cockroach milk, right? See, they use the term milk to make us think of, well, milk. I doubt it's milk. I doubt it. It's not milk. We know it's not milk, right? It's cockroach squeezings. Oh my God. Folks, get your questions in. Get them in now. Mad Mick got the first one up. That one caught Jolene's fancy. But, and thank you, Mad Mick. I got to tell you, folks, I can't believe that the world is on fire, right? It is. When the Attorney General says he personally approved Trump's search warrant, that tells you that we're in a political war, right? And they're going to get all of it. You get it all, Merrick. It's coming. We're right here waiting for you, all of us. All of us. Unbelievable, right? Oh, man. Right? I'm going to continue on Merrick Garland because I haven't liked him from day fucking one. He's a sneaky little bastard. He's making sure his family members get their critical race theory books out in the market where schools can buy them, and then expose children to self-hating, parent-hating, nation-hating, history-hating, truth and fact-hating propaganda. There you have it, folks. Get your questions in now because I'm going to give you the rest of the second half of the hour, but I'm going to finish the first. Oh, good golly. Garland, folks, is a political stooge. He's a hack. He's a bitch. It's beyond obvious that the raid on Mar-a-Lago, on Trump, is an attack on the Make America Great people. They want Trump silenced, folks, removed and destroyed. They do have Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, but that is not really the problem. The problem is that you and I, if they can silence Trump, you and I are silenced and destroyed politically. You better have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You better have a plan. You have to, folks. If you do not, you are risking your lives. This is a political SHTF moment. We have war with China. We have war with Russia. Whether you like it or not, it's a cyber war. It's a military war. You know, Cold War currently. Proxy war in Ukraine. It is a psyop. It's an economic. It's a monetary war. It's a war over resources. It's an energy war. Oil, uranium, coal, gas, all of those things. And they don't want you and I to have an opinion. They want us silenced. The Democrat socialist folks want us all unrepresented in Washington, D.C. Unrepresented. That was a huge factor in the American Revolution and the 1776 movement that was culminated in the signing of the Declaration of Independence. One of the big complaints was taxation without representation. We're not being represented anymore, folks. We are not. To claim we are is a frickin' farce. It is. It's a farcical claim. You know what? You don't want to know who they're representing in Washington, D.C.? They're representing Coca-Cola, Dick's Sporting Goods. They're representing Archer Daniels Midland. They're representing Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. They're representing, folks, Morgan Stanley and J.P. Morgan and Chase Banks. That's who's being represented, not us. Military industrial complex, they're being represented very well. The representation, folks, comes through lobbying, giving money to politicians. That is how they get their representation. You and I, we get fucking lip service. Okay? They want us unrepresented so they can socially, economically, politically, and financially send us into oblivion and then kill us. Kill us, folks. Now, Senator Rand Paul and other conservatives have called for an investigation into what is going on. And this is what he said, quote, and if it warrants it, this investigation, there's going to have to be a look at whether or not the Attorney General has misused his office for political purposes. Have they gone after a political opponent? I mean, this is beyond the pale. No one would ever imagined before that we would be using, or one political party would be using the FBI to attack their political opponents. Now, folks, I can imagine Democrats using the Department of Justice, the FBI, any other three-letter IRS for anything they can and everything they can, and they're doing it. Are you prepared? I have been saying with you, prep to action. I was saying, prepare, get prepared. And you're like, well, what's next? I'm saying prep to action. Start taking action, which includes, folks, but is not limited to texts, emails, phone calls to Washington, D.C., to your state capitol and representatives there, as well as voting and spreading the word. It is this internet address right up there. Telling people, come to The Prepared Mind, subscribe on YouTube. And if you feel so inclined, support us at thepreparedmind.club or subscribestar.com, right? And we have premium. Folks, a premium membership is $2 a month. It's less than a cup of coffee. And it supports what we do here, which is like cowboys on the range. We go out and we chase down stories, we wrangle them, and we milk them for all the value they have. I couldn't not leave the milking comment there. Now get this, folks. I have been fuming all day. Now, a Texas Democrat gubernatorial candidate snapped at a heckler at a town hall event in Texas. It looked, smelled, and sounded staged, so I want to address it. The candidate in question is the absolute indecent idiot candidate, Beto the Meatball. And he was talking anti-gun rhetoric when he decided to attack a Governor Abbott supporter verbally, or someone he wanted the crowd to believe was an Abbott supporter. But first, folks, before we go there, let me remind you that socialist governments have killed over 100 million people. Socialist governments have killed over 100 million people, their own citizens. Plus, socialist governments have killed additional tens of millions of people in their expansionist wars, trying to force other nations and peoples to accept their socialism, communism. Folks, socialism is murder. It murders individuals and it murders souls, the spirit of life. It sucks it out of people. Now, back to jackass Beto. Now, Beto is a socialist, folks, and he wants gun control. If our nation, the most free in the world, the most beautiful nation, which was created by the Constitution, is overthrown by these evil, murderous socialists, it will be because they took our guns. Yes, our AR-15s, which look like military M16s, but they don't fire ammunition like them. If they take them, we can expect murder from a new socialist regime right here in our country, the United States of America. I mean, ask yourself, how are you feeling about the IRS and the FBI right now? The IRS wanting to hire 87,000 new IRS agents because the Democrats passed it, and they will be armed and ready to take violent action against anybody, including using deadly force. That means guns and bullets. They want their guns and their bullets. How are you feeling about the FBI right now? How you feeling about the Attorney General and the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., the District of Criminals? Trust them? Want them to have more authority to abuse us? Want to give up your guns now? Beto, Bicho, the socialist communist, folks. He's a turd. And he confronted a Governor Abbott supporter, a supposed Abbott supporter, during his anti-gun, anti-America rant, excusing and not even mentioning the hundreds of millions killed by socialists and wars from government, not people's wars, folks, government wars. And he was scaring people while talking about a few murdered, folks, a few people murdered by a left-wing socialist lunatic in the school down there in Uvalde, right? He decided to make a statement, Beto did, while saying, we can't have just 20 kids killed. What about the hundreds, thousands, millions, tens of millions, 100 million plus people killed by socialists? But this is what Beto said. It may be funny to you, motherfucker, but it's not funny to me. Tough talk from a beta bitch, Beto. Beto loves socialism and communism. Socialism and communism murders, folks. It murders their own people. They don't allow guns. Left-wing lunatics murder others too. They don't like freedom. Beto doesn't like freedom. Beto doesn't like guns. Beto doesn't like America. What kind of actions, what do you think the decisions would be that Beto would take and make if he was in power, folks, and an emergency was declared? Think about it. Are you ready to give up your guns? Because if you are, you're also ready to give up your life. To give up one is to give up the other, period. Okay, now, unbelievable. Now, there was some question about whether or not the cameras at Mar-a-Lago, whether they were actually shut off during the FBI raid. Eric Trump, son of President Trump, says that the cameras were on, rolling, recording. Well, now mainstream media mouthpiece, Sean Hannity, and that's what I think of him now. And I started losing respect for him when he absolutely refused to bring up the question of Building 7 and 9/11. There's valid questions that were being asked, and he ignored them and showed me that he's purchased, he's paid for, he's sold out. So he is a mainstream media mouthpiece, even though he's entertaining and he's very bright. But Sean Hannity has confirmed that the Mar-a-Lago security cameras were not turned off during the FBI raid. I can't wait, folks, for that footage to make it out into public. FBI agents were carrying backpacks and bags into the estate. Were they planting evidence? And if that was captured on video, that is a serious crime. Planting evidence. Were they planting bugs? That is to say, not cockroaches for milking, but listening devices or video devices. Were they doing that? Whoops. I mean, all Trump has to do is walk out with a handful of electronic surveillance devices, throw them on the table and say, this is what the FBI left in my house. After Merrick Garland told them to come in. If they did anything wrong, folks, it's Merrick Garland's fault. Why? Because he authorized it. Everything, if he authorized it, then everything that was done, whether on paper or not, falls under his responsibility. Thus, we've got some problems, folks. We have some big freaking problems. Oh, by the way, a fire completely destroyed the Pendleton flour mills in Oregon. What is a flour mill? Well, that's where they take wheat and they pulverize the shit out of it. They grind it into a flour. So the ability to process wheat is taking another stab. And it's not like that's the only place, folks, where wheat is milled. It's just one more in a series of many fires and other accidents related to food processing, food storage, food distribution in America. Don't worry, though, there'll be plenty of cockroach milk for you. You'll get yours, I tell you. Ooh-ah. What a freaking mess. And I want to let everyone know, folks, OPEC. We've seen the fuel prices coming down, right? This is interesting. Is this Putin? Well, let me tell you what's going on, right? We saw fuel prices just skyrocketing under Biden. And right up here at the top, it started to trickle down a little. And he's like, see, victory, victory. It wasn't my fault it went up, but it's all my credit that it came down a few cents. Biden, my ass. What a pile of crap. Well, OPEC has set the stage, folks, for cuts in oil production. Whoops. So we saw the price go up. It's come down a little. But is Putin, who is part of OPEC plus, OPEC, is Putin going to negotiate and talk to his good buddies in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East and say, let's cut production and make the fuel prices rise even further in time for the 2022 elections to make Biden look like shit? See, this is terrible. When you rely on other countries, especially those who are not politically friendly to you, when you rely on them, they can affect your economy, your country, your standard of living. Why are we relying on Russian energy, Middle East energy, when we have our own right here? I think that in America, we should pump our own oil, refine it into our own fuels. And if there's any left after America's needs have been satisfied, then and only then are you allowed to export it to other countries. You are not allowed to get Alaskan oil and sell it to Japan. You're not allowed to get oil from anywhere and sell it to other countries until all U.S. domestic needs are met. That is an energy policy that makes sense for America. That's an energy policy that makes sense for America. President John, with his brother, President Jim, and his Attorney General, Attorney General Roger. That would be great, wouldn't it? I would just love to see law and order, folks. It doesn't need to be me. It just needs to be somebody. Somebody. Now, I got one more thing here, folks, I want to talk about before I turn the questions over to you. In Ohio, the Highway Patrol got in a gunfight with a man who was in body armor. But what was this man doing? What caused this? He was attempting to break into the FBI building in Ohio. Was this an event that was staged to make right-wingers look evil and violent? And that this was a reaction because of what happened in Florida with Mar-a-Lago and Trump, right? Is it a staged event? Or could this be that Americans have finally had enough and are willing to violently oppose the corrupt, lack of integrity, no integrity, negative integrity FBI and their violence, right? Either way, folks, either way. Americans are aware of the highly politicized Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Gestapo, the Stasi, the SS, the KGB. They were politicized law enforcement also. They had badges. They wore symbols of authority, as well as having guns. And we all know that all those groups were evil and not a proper and lawful authority. Gestapo, Stasi, SS, KGB, we all know they're evil. Is the FBI doing the same things? Well, according to Congresswoman out of Indiana, who was born under communist rule and escaped, came to America and freedom. She says, oh yeah, we're seeing the same techniques, folks. These other types, the Gestapo, Stasi, SS, KGB folks, they use threats of violence and direct violence, as well as allowing thug underling groups, Hitler Youth, for example, to violently attack and murder the regime's opponents. So Hitler's enemies, they were attacked with Hitler Youth. They were attacked by brown shirts. They were framed by Gestapo and SS. They were rounded up. They were made to order political tools, folks. They were propaganda tools. They were pointed to and called evil and bad by Hitler and his cohorts. And then they're sent off to concentration camps, or they just had a bullet put in their head. Folks, is the FBI, what are they doing? FBI Director Wray is afraid of us, the people. He should be. We outnumber and also outgun the FBI. As the true sovereigns of this nation, folks, we the people. We outnumber them, and it's our country, right? The document starts off with we the people of these United States. We the people, not the FBI. We the people. Now, the more corrupt the FBI becomes, folks, and acts as a result, the more it becomes corrupt and the more it acts corruptly, the more the people, us, will openly oppose them, and the more fearful they will become, and the more outrageous their claims will be and their actions. It's getting nasty, folks, right? FBI Director Chris Wray, Crybaby Chris, that's what I call him, had to make his appearance on camera and whine and snivel like a bitch. Folks, he is a liar. Bald-faced liar. He's cowardly. He's sneaky. He's a sniveling liar. All the local, state, and federal police were murdered by BLM and Antifa. They were not a concern. Right? This is incredible, folks. This is what Chris Wray said. I'm always concerned about threats to law enforcement. What about the police who were murdered by BLM and Antifa and FBI and everyone else that was there, right? Certainly, he's not always concerned, right? If he was concerned, all the Antifa and BLM would be arrested for not only threatening and assaulting law enforcement, they would be arrested for murder, arson, assaulting Americans, looting, rape, crossing state lines to commit acts of terror. Well, there's a federal offense, right? So when he said, I'm always concerned about threats to law enforcement, he's lying. Bald-faced, cowardly, sneaky, sniveling liar. Now, Wray also said in his news conference, violence against law enforcement is not the answer, no matter who you're upset with. Excuse me? Except that Camel Toes Harris, vice president of the U.S. government, bailed out Antifa and BLM, released them back into the streets, then encouraged them to continue assaulting all law enforcement, burning, looting, murdering, etc. How can he say, folks, violence is not the answer, no matter who you're upset with? They allowed and encouraged violence. Why didn't Chris Wray of the FBI arrest Kamala Harris for inciting violence and facilitating terror attacks? Chris Wray is a disgrace, a liar, and a pile of horse shit. Absolutely. I'm sure this video will not be monetized by YouTube. All right, folks, it is time for the Q&A.
Are you ready?
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. David says, quote, armed Ohio man approaches FBI headquarters. This is what happens to all these guys chomping at the bit and urging patriots to stand up and do something. That guy didn't stand a chance. Folks, I've talked to a lot of military people, veterans, people who have served in the infantry. And just because you served in the infantry or the military doesn't make you a genius. It just doesn't, right? We're patriotic. We're willing to stand up. We're stand-up guys and girls, right, out there. But it doesn't make you super geniuses or strategic, experts. I don't know what this guy was doing and what he was thinking. I don't know what his plan was, right? I still think it could have been an FBI actor. I do. He could have been another MK Ultra mind control idiot that they just turn loose in order to create sympathy, for the big crybaby Chris Wray. But yeah, people are, folks. There's a lot of people out there chomping at the bit. And there are many people chiding Americans, saying, well, if you don't stand up and do something, then you're a giant pussy. And so, guys, they get antagonized. If you would, Jolene, go ahead and take the comment down. People are being antagonized by the government. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is antagonizing and threatening Americans. They're calling parents domestic terrorists. Attorney General douchebag Garland, same story. President of the United States jackass Gigi Biden antagonizes Americans. Remember when he said, my patience is wearing thin? Screw you. I don't care about your fucking patience. Right? Go take some Xanax and go take another nap. Take another long weekend off, Biden. Right? Nobody believes the shit. What we need to do, though, folks, is understand this is a process. There's not an event that starts and finishes everything and we're done. It's not a one-day event. SHTF is going to be well over a decade long. The fight that is coming is not going to be one battle or even 10 battles. It's going to be hundreds and thousands of individual fights for liberty and justice. Some of those battles are going to be vengeance, and some are going to be incredibly righteous. It's going to be an incredible fight. When does it start? All I can say is you will know. Right? Balls to your bones. You'll know when it's go time. Is it go time? Not yet. Are we getting close? Much closer, in my opinion. I have more videos coming out where I'm going to discuss. One second. I'm going to have more videos where I come out and discuss my opinion on what is coming and where we're at. And 1776, folks, gives us a lot of clues. We're seeing them now. The phony bullshit prosecutions, arrests, false witnesses, abuse by government agencies, not being represented in the government. All of these things, folks, are right in the Declaration of Independence. And what do they want to do? Again, Beto wants to take the guns. Congress wants to take the guns. The president wants to take the guns. What did England, King George, and the governors that were in the colonies, what did they want to do? They wanted to disarm the American colonists. Then, folks, they had some events, Lexington and Concord, and many others beside. And ultimately, that put an end to the people saying, maybe government can be saved. Right? Then you look to the Declaration of Independence, and it says that is the right, it is the duty of the people to throw off, right, corrupt, tyrannical government, and to create for themselves new guards for their liberties. Right? The government is our servant, not our masters. I don't know where these fucking idiots came up with this idea that they can tell the people what to do. The government has been instituted amongst people, authorized by the people to represent us, not to tell each other what to do, but to represent our nation to other governments. The federal government is only there to address other nations and tell them what we are about. We're about freedom and liberty. State governments are to govern the individual states based on their economic needs, their individual cultures, and to incorporate, once again, those same constitutional rights and values. State governments are not instituted among people to tell the people what to do. State governments are there to facilitate or administrate the government functions for the people, not to tell us what to do. Same with cities and counties. Unbelievable where they've taken us because we have been prosperous. All right. Prosperity creates weaker men, folks, until it's not prosperous. And the lack of prosperity creates stronger men who then fight again to become prosperous and free. Let us move on if we shall. We got a lot of questions here, and I want to get to them all. We got Vincent Boyle. He says, question, will Trump's arrest be the spark? I don't think that he is going to be arrested at this time, Vincent. I appreciate you checking in and Semper Fi to you. But if he is arrested, if President Trump is arrested, that could very well be one of the incidents that leads to people standing up and taking real action. I felt or believed, if you will, that the raid on Mar-a-Lago was a political stunt by the left to infuse their voter base, to excite them, and then hope that they find something in a fishing expedition. As if Trump would have anything, folks, anything illegal at his estate, even though it's unprecedented that any president, any former president would have their private residence raided by the FBI. Raided. Take that, FBI. Fuck you guys. Raid. It's all you do is raid people's shit. Show up with guns, point them at people, scare the hell out of them, and take their stuff. Well, they raided President Trump, even though that's unprecedented. I don't think he would have had anything there illegal if he has anything in his life illegal. Knowing he's being watched by everyone, that even within his closest circles, there are people who would be willing to screw him over, sell him out for $1. Right? It's heavily surmised that there are communist, socialist, Democrat spies still within the inner circles of Trump's life, and that they were leading the FBI with clues as to where these secret papers were. Oh my God, a cocktail napkin with something written on it. Oh, good golly, a birthday menu. Oh, we need to go through Melania's panty drawer. Folks, it's because the FBI is running out of panties. You know, they are a bunch of panty waist sisters. All right, I'm gonna let you guys get into some more questions here. I am hot under the collar. Taz checks in. He says, get your communities ready. Just remember, they like taking us one at a time, so stand together. This is an interesting comment, and this is one I've thought about a lot. If you are arrested, the media won't be there to give a shit. Your neighbors may see some things, but you're going to be quietly taken off to jail. They'll slam the door behind you. They'll abuse you. They'll shit all over you. You might get a lawyer. You might not. Look what's happened to the January 6th protesters, folks. Even congressmen and women can't get in to see them. They're being abused intentionally. It's fucking outrageous that they've been held there for over 18 months on bullshit charges. They would want to take us one at a time. You have to decide whether you are going to be arrested or not. It's up to you. Do you want to be arrested? Or do you want to say, no, I don't think I'm going to let you arrest me today. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you to do anything violent or dangerous, harmful to you or others. I'm saying ask yourself a question. And if we stand together as a community, how does that work? Right? Do you block off your street now and forever and tell the police, if you want in, have you got a warrant? Don't give me it's public property shit. We know there is no more public property. It's whoever, lives at this place. Kind of like Congress. That's public property. Not anymore. That's Nancy's house. So Nancy's rule is what lives and exists there. Bunch of bullshit. But seriously, police show up and you go, what are you doing here? And they say, well, John Q. Smith down the street. We got a warrant for him. Are you going to tell them no? Sorry, not today. Warrants don't count. Not here. Go away. You're going to let the police in, and they go to John Q. Public's house, and they start bringing him outside in handcuffs. Are you going to stop the police? Are you going to stop the state troopers? Are you going to stop the Department of Justice? Are you going to stop the FBI? So this, telling people we got to stand together. It's either you do or you don't. And if you do stand together and you don't allow people to be arrested in your community, in your prepper group, in your world, then you are now at war with the establishment. I call them the establishment, not the government. It is, right, the de facto authority. Like it or not, they're the de facto authority. They're in charge. They have the guns. They have the badges. They have the appearance of legitimacy. So maybe it's when the time comes. I've said you'll know it when the time is here. When it's time to say, no more. Well, that's when you better do something. But yeah, they do like to pick us off one at a time, right? They show up at the January 6th protesters. Hey, is this you? Is this you in this picture right here from January 6th? At the Capitol? And you're like, yeah, that was me. Well, you're under arrest. Come with us. The FBI went around and rounded everyone up. I don't think I'm going to allow them to arrest me, folks, because they could point to all of my videos and say, look, John's a radical, crazy dude, right? And they could take things I say out of context. They love to take things out of context, even though there's a caveat. There's a disclaimer at the beginning of every video. Even though I say, this isn't me talking, I am taking an arguing point, an argument point. I am taking a position so we can have a discussion. This isn't necessarily what I believe. But they could take me out of context and say, this is exactly what you believe. Did you or did you not say these words? I go, yeah, I said those words. I was quoting the FBI director when I said those words that you are attributing to me. You bunch of lying, freaking jerks, right? Here we are, folks. Is it 1984? Is it 1776? Is it Armageddon or is it Mad Max? We got trouble. We got a lot of trouble. I don't want any part of it. Right? I love freedom and liberty. Leave me the fuck alone, government. But they are the insistent ones coming after us. All right, let's do this. Let's move on if we shall. We got Christine Bihana. And she says, I can't remember how long ago I found the Prepared Mind family. John was still working and in the fifth wheel. I remember I was only one or two things a week. Then it started coming faster. I have learned more since finding this group and all involved here. I just want to thank all of you. My mind doesn't blow up anymore. I learn and share. Thank you, John, Jolene, Uman, Kaz, and you all. Thank you, Christine. That's wonderful. I'm glad you brought it up like that. I started the show in December of 2013. I said, get prepared, and some things happened in my life, and I spent 5 years, 5 years in a fifth wheel, my fifth wheel, living that way. And then, all the while, it used to be I would take a topic and just discuss it for 30 minutes. I can't do that anymore. It's not that I don't have the capacity or talent. It's just that there's so much to cover. I can't talk about just one little thing and dissect it, right, to its core pieces every time. There's so much to discuss. It used to be one or two, news items a week. And it is accelerated, and it has grown, and it is accelerated, and it has grown until the point we got to a few years ago, SHTF, right? The spring of 2020, when they said, that's it, everyone stay home. Unbelievable. And so we have, folks, if I got red pilled today, right? If I got red pilled today, this would be mind blowing to come to a place like the Prepared Mind and other networks to come to that and then go, holy cow, look at all this information, all of this thought that's been put into this, all of this preparation, both in preps as well as mental preparation. It's a huge benefit to have this community because you can ask questions, and we really try and foster a friendly environment that caters to both experienced people and those who are brand new to the world of, oh shit, I just woke up and prepping, right? Whether we're talking about men or women, older, young, veterans, civilians, patriots, hunters, non-hunters, city folks, country folks, we all have questions and they can be answered, right? And they need to be answered. And we need to be looking around at what's happening. Think about it, folks. Imagine taking yourself from 1995. Oh yeah, the Clintons are there. We had a couple of things happen. The world's kind of screwy, and then time machine forward to today. It'd blow your fucking mind, right? Right? You're telling kids to cut their genitals off and their breasts. You're saying it's okay to wear puppy dog masks and wear a little teeny leather thing on your dick while you're walking down the street in a public parade? What do you mean you're allowed to shoot up drugs on the street, crap in the street, piss in the street, and none of that's a crime? You can go into a store and steal as much as you want and you won't be prosecuted or arrested? You can do all those things, right? The government can do what it's doing. I mean, it's outrageous to think about what it was like 30 years ago and then jump to today. Let's move on if we shall. We got less than 10 minutes. I think we got a few questions left. Yes, we got Kathy Lemaster. She says, I can't remember how I found y'all way back when, just like Christine Bahana said, was watching him in the house that was taped and floated. Then the RV. Love the years with y'all. Yeah, I tell you. Good times. And then there's Cottage Farm. Thank you. She said, what kind of person would go to the FBI in Cincinnati alone, armed to complain, a lone disgruntled conservative or a false flag, right? The guy showed up armed, wearing body armor, making complaints, making threats. What kind of person thinks like that? What do they hope to accomplish? And then he takes off and the police chase him, right? What did he hope to accomplish? What was the goal? What was the objective? Or is this a false flag? Yeah, that's what I thought, Cottage Farm. I'm like, the story seems to make sense, except it makes no fucking sense. A lone dude, right? Now, behind the scenes, think about it. If an intelligent person with the means to create some real havoc for those people, the FBI, a lone person, how much trouble could they cause? How many people could they hurt if they really wanted to apply themselves? Remember years ago when those two men, one younger, one older, thank you, Jolene. Remember when they hid inside the trunk of a car and they had a hole and they put a gun barrel out and they were shooting people? I believe they called them the Washington sniper, the DC sniper, or the Maryland sniper, or some shit like that. They caused a lot of trouble and a lot of havoc because they actually had some kind of an idea how to do what they were doing, accomplish the goal that they wanted, right? And to get away with it. They eventually got caught because I don't think they were all that smart after all, but they were smart enough with just a little bit of thinking to figure out how they could terrorize people and get away with it. This guy that shows up in Cincinnati at the FBI headquarters, what a jackass. I don't believe for a second he's a conservative. I don't. I really don't. I understand the frustration level people have and that they're pissed off and that something needs to be done. And we're going to find out, folks. We're going to continue to follow this up between the Department of Justice and Attorney General, between Congress and the President, between the FBI folks and us. We're going to keep following this and see where it leads. It's going somewhere. All right, we got one more question here, I think. And Jolene, where is it? Looking far, looking wide. We got one more question, I believe, to wrap up the show until tomorrow, Friday. Love Fridays, folks. And of course, Sunday, we'll have Sunday Night Live. We'll have the Zoo. Sunday Night Live. I can't wait to see what the hell happens over the weekend. But for right now, let's finish with Sally Sue. She says, this has just started, and I feel that one way or another, it's going to get much bigger than most of us want. Stay strong and keep alert. Don't let them wear you down. Exactly. You know, there's a way to lose a fight real fast. You're not paying attention and you just get cold cocked, blindsided, knocked out. Right? That's the best way to lose, is to not be paying attention and to get hit. So yeah, stay strong and keep alert. Don't let them wear you down. That's the other way that they can knock us out. It's just to wear us down. So that's why I say every weekend, take a day for yourself, or every day unplug for a few hours. Literally, folks, I take my phone and for a couple of hours, it's just gone. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to touch it. If it rings, you know, it better be a fucking emergency. Anyways, don't let them wear you down, right? That's how we get sick. That's how you get burned out, right? You know, chance favors the prepared mind. We've got to stay prepared. We've got to be prepared. We've got to be ready for what's coming next. We have to anticipate, folks, not the exact thing that happens, but rather we need to anticipate that something is going to happen. And I'll tell you for a fact, when I say something is going to happen this week, I don't have a freaking clue. I just know something's going to happen. I can feel it. I can sense it. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you sometimes I know when we're going to have a big, nasty week. School is starting across the country now. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet there's going to be more school shootings? How much you want to bet? I tell you, when my kids were in school, and they're not anymore, folks, they're going to be 21 and 23 this year, come this fall. When they were going to school, my concern was not over a school shooter. My concern was over training at the school by law enforcement. My concern was a false flag. Right? And I remember sharing with you guys, my younger son, Luke, got a school commendation, right? Recognized because during their drill, right, there was a it wasn't even a drill. It was a false alarm, thankfully, over someone with a gun, a dangerous person that was on the school grounds. And so my younger son, he took charge of the classroom, took action, and he was recognized for it. Right. So I was like, okay, good. You know, being prepared for what the potential is, for what could happen, being prepared so you can take action, having those items that we need. And it is going to get bigger and wilder and crazier and hairier. It's going to get scarier, off the hook. If you have no clue this is happening, how would you respond? Right? Sitting in your closet, hiding into your bed, right? Huddling in the basement. You know, that's no way to deal with this situation. I'm not saying put on your camouflage and go running down the street screaming like you're Rambo and, you know, running headlong into a problem. Don't do that. But by golly, understand what's going on, right? Be prepared. It's Thursday and it's coming. I'm going to ask you, are you subscribed? You made it this far. Are you subscribed? I sure hope you are. I sure hope you're subscribed on one of our premium services. Now, I know right now while we're live, you guys all are. You all are. And I want to thank you guys, you know, for going to the preparedmind.club, our store. It's something that we spend a lot of time on. There's a lot of energy behind the scenes, right? Going in and looking for stuff. Thank you, you know. But the objective is to get everyone that we can prepared. And I tell you what, people who refuse to get prepared, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from them, right? When they're like, oh, we didn't think it was serious. We didn't know what was happening. Folks, right? If you're not prepared, then you're asking for trouble, literally asking for trouble, right? How can I feel sympathy for someone who I've been telling for a decade? This December, it will be 10 years. I've been saying, get prepared. And you're not, right? Now, I know that they used doomsday preppers and other television shows basically to demonize and make people who are preppers look like absolute radical ding-dongs and morons. Well, Sorry, that's not the case. Most preppers, and I talk to a lot of you guys, are decent, hardworking, tax-paying, normal folk, lawyers, doctors, folks, medical professionals, retirees, business owners, manufacturers out here. That's who's talking to me, folks. Experts, professionals, business owners, as well as just regular people like me. I'm just a regular dude, just a regular guy. IT professionals, like I said, I talk to everyone. We're not a bunch of dumbass hillbillies, but that's what the government wants you to believe, and that's how they use that propaganda to convince others to stay away. You don't want to be one of those guys, right? So for now, I'm going to check out. I'm going to let you go for the day. And Jolene says, yeah, join us at the club. And shoot, looks like we got a discount here. Join the club to get the first month free. That'll help people. Yeah. If you've made it this long, that is terrific. Thank you, Jolene. In fact, you ought to put that up at the beginning of the video starting next week. Let's do that next week, right? I didn't get to read all that, but that's okay. You want to read what that said, go back and pause the video. But yeah, we're gonna do what we can to show people. Look at all the benefits you get of joining with the premium side. And then, of course, sign up for the free newsletter. It's free. It's a newsletter, and it has discount codes. We're trying to do this twice a week, discount codes on stuff. We're doing all we can, folks, and I know you're doing all you can as well. Chance favors the prepared mind. Aren't you glad you're a prepper? And to all of you who have sent CashApp and PayPal donations, thank you for what you do for us as well. Behind the scenes, it makes a big difference as to what we can do and how we can help you and help others. God bless America. Semper Fi.